looking to use quizzes to grow your email list to help your course students stay on track or to streamline your coaching process? Most people don't realize, but Kajabi actually has a few powerful quiz tools baked into it, and with a little creativity, they can go a long way. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can build out a lead magnet quiz to connect with new subscribers, course quizzes to boost completion and accreditation, and coaching and client assessments to gather better intel about the people that you're working with. I'm also going to show you when it's worth looking at other tools like Interact or Typeform and how you can hook them into your Kajabi site and integrate them nicely. Let's dive in. If you're just wanting to use Kajabi, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. If you're wanting to put a quiz on a landing page, so on your part of your website, then you could probably use forms. So you come to Kajabi and go to forms. We're just going to really quickly work one up. Go to a new form. Let's call it a quiz for a lead magnet. Now, depending on which Kajabi plan you have will depend on the segmentation and automation that you can do following this. But to start off with, just go through and set up the form. The settings here will be relevant to which part of the world you're in and where you're serving your customers as to whether legally you have to have a double opt-in or a single opt-in. I'm just going to choose single opt-in for now. And then by default on a form, you'll always have name and email address. And then here's where you add the other questions relevant to your quiz. So create a new field. How long have you, this is very niche to my field, and I can choose what kind of field it is. So whether I want to make a select option, so this is choices. So if I'm wanting to make sure that people choose a category, then I would do it like this. I always make this a required field. And then what's another one? Right, so that's another question I might ask. And I've said on a scale of 1 to 5. So here I would put either 1 to 5 select. Radio buttons are where they have to choose. So I'll show you what these look like anyway. But you basically put all the choices like this. And I'll just ask one more question. Like that. So that's the quiz questions for now. For now, I won't add any automations. We'll share those with you later. That's all I need to do really to start. If I just go save, and now I can add this form onto a landing page. So we'll just go website, landing pages. Going to add a new landing page. There's probably one in here that's a template that we can choose from. I would choose probably an opt-in page. There's probably not a quiz-specific one. Choose one of the opt-in pages or create your own landing page, whichever is easiest for you. So I'm just going to choose this one. Call it quiz lead magnet so that we know in the back end what this page is for. I'm going to go into the form settings, so I can go in here before it pops up. And obviously I can change this text here to, take the quiz. You can obviously completely customize this page with your own images and everything like that. But then I would add the form in here. Quiz for a lead magnet. There we go. So let's take a look at it. We'll preview it. So take the quiz, it's going to have this text and then it's got these form fields. So obviously this is not ideal because the page has got black on it. So let me just get rid of that. Let's just make it white. So here, this is how they would fill in the form. I'll just put my details in here. How long have I been using Kajabi? So this was the select options. I can select. I can select, these were the radio buttons, so you can only select one. There's no option for multiple choice selection. And then this one here was another select field on a scale of, how many people work in your business with you? Right. loses the question. I think you can change that. So let's just have a look here. It's in the form settings here, labels rather than placeholders. That just puts the bits that were sitting in the form so we know what to fill in there above it, so that when we preview it and when the customer comes, the questions stay there when we select the answer. The question still stays there. So you'll see before the question went away. And now this here is the URL link, basically, that you share with your customers and put on your website. And this is where they can come to fill in that quiz. From there, once they've filled in that quiz, so if I fill it in now, oops, didn't keep my things. And I made everything a required field, so I have to fill it in. It's gone to a custom Kajabi thank you page. You can set up your own thank you page, just use a landing page and connect it. So over here, when you set up the form, here goes the thank you page. So you just create another landing page that is like a thank you one. I don't know if I've got one in here or not. For my free Kajabi checklist, I have one. So a thank you page. And then after someone has completed their details, we'll see if it'll go back and let me do it again. There you go. It takes me to that custom thank you page. Obviously, it's unrelated to this quiz, but you would make it related, and that's how you connect it up. Then, most importantly for you, when you're doing it this way, then you can come into your contacts area and you'll see everyone that has filled in the quiz. So if you filter for forms, here we go. And then anyone who's submitted, and then you find the relevant form here and press apply filters. And anyone who's filled in that form is shown here. You can also see these details in, I'll just show you where you find the details within the contact area, but you can also see them in the forms area. So this is my contact, and if I go into info, I can see some of the additional information that I filled in on the form. So those custom answers that I answered on the form. Otherwise, you can come into marketing and forms, go back to the form where you set it up, quiz for a lead magnet, and here, submissions. So in here, I can see the 2 tests that I did, and I can see the answers as well. Now, this is very basic, how you could set up a very basic quiz, set it up on your website and get people to start filling it in. From here, you can add more automations. So my ideal automations that you would add would be to add an email sequence. So subscribe to an email sequence. You'll need to set up the email sequence first before you do this automation, but it might be like, congratulations, based on their quiz answer, or thanks for filling in the quiz. Here goes some free stuff for you, something like that. So they will automatically get that when they fill in the quiz. And then the other thing that I would add, which is a little bit more advanced, is some tagging. So this is how you can start to segment your audience. So you could add a tag, whatever it is. Now, I don't have the advanced automations here, but you can make it conditional. So that means you could add the tag cookies when someone answers a specific answer on those custom questions. So it wouldn't be tag cookies, obviously. If you were looking to find out how long people have have been part of Kajabi, and someone's answered under 1 year, then they may need specific services that are different to people who have had Kajabi for longer than that. So I might add a tag under 1 year to anyone that answers the question that was, how long have you had Kajabi, when they answer it with under 1 year. So this one here, under a year. So that's more advanced automations. You need to have the growth plan or above on Kajabi to be able to use those. That's what's prompting me here to upgrade for more advanced. But I can do this basic automation. So when anyone fills in the form, we can add a tag to their name. So if you want to know that they've filled in that form, because that kind of shows that they are a little bit warmer audience, they're interested in what you've got to tell them. You'll also know now that they are receiving those email sequences from you as well, based on the automations down here. So that is where you set up the basics of a quiz, utilizing fully just all on Kajabi. The other option that I want to show you here is assessments. Now, assessments might be something that you use more for like your existing clients or customers, because it doesn't necessarily, or it won't sit on the front end of your website. It's something that produces a link that you can then share with your customers or coaching clients or whoever it is that you're wanting to quiz. It's more of maybe a survey than a quiz. It's a great way to gather information. You can get like uploaded files, things like that as well. So to do that, you come into contacts and then assessments and go get started. Now, these cannot be customized that much. So they don't look very branded. That's the only thing I will say. They are handy, I think, for internally surveying your customers or gaining information from your customers. One way that one of my clients has used them is they are personal trainers and they gather their clients' information through a quiz and regularly. So their clients can regularly update before and after photos, their meal plans, things like that. So you can add a description in here. We'll just do that. You can choose to automatically grade the assessment. Now, I won't go into that just now, but that obviously allows you a little bit more of a option for maybe like accreditation programs, or if you have students that need to pass certain things to be able to move on to the next field, then you would automatically grade the assessment. However, you can only use certain questions in the assessment so that it can auto grade. Obviously, it has to be like multi-choice or yes/no answers rather than written answers or uploaded things, because the system can't grade that otherwise. So let's just leave it like that for now, and I'll show you what they look like. So we're going to leave that turned off. This here is whether we want to show the results at the end after the person has filled them in. You could leave that on or not. The language. So this is where what your customers will see when they open up the assessment. So click on the below button to start. You can add some more information in here, and afterwards, thanks, you've completed this assessment, something, add more instructions in there as well if you want. Then obviously there's more automations, which we'll come to afterwards. So, and if you're wanting to send an email automatically at the end with a link to the results, you can, and to your team as well. So let's go save, and let's go into edit the questions. This is where we can set up the questions for the quiz. So these are the different types that you can have within an assessment. Let's just choose a couple here, and then the different choices for the answer. So I can't remember what I put on my previous one. I can add a tag to that here if people select less than 1 year. So I could create a tag that's called that, and add a tag when someone selects that answer, add a tag to their name. So let's go save. I go back, and I can add another answer. So this is obviously so that they can choose. I'll just add 2 here. I won't bother adding a tag to that, but you get the drift. Okay, and then I go back out and choose the next question, and maybe this one here is going to be like a multiple selection. So you don't have to add a tag to all of them, but if you want to, you can obviously come in and see people's answers afterwards as well. So you don't need to add a tag, but if you're wanting to filter them, just add one more in here so we can see a range. Cool. Go back out, and I won't add one more. That's enough for now. You've seen all the different answers that you can add in here as well. And then we can go save and hide that. And it's starting to show them in a list there. If I just go back out one, and then I can preview it here. So you see it's very grey. We can't change the colors of this at all without using code at least, but we can add our own text in here, and the users just move through it, and a progress bar goes across here. So I've got one more than 1 year. I'll go less than 1 year because I know I added a tag to that. Email marketing. This is like a multi-choice, it's a multiple selection one that I added. So I just added 3 in there. And then at the end, it will ask for email address and name usually. I'm not sure if it's going to do it here because I'm just demonstrating it, but usually it will. So that then it will attach those answers to that contact's name. Yeah, it hasn't done it here, but I can have a look at the breakdown of my results here so I can see what I answered, and then I can restart the quiz as well if I wanted to. And then this is the text that you could update in those settings over here. So what it hasn't shown is that it will request name and email address in between the end of the quiz and this page here. And then the other thing you can do from here is come in and view the results that I just did. It's going to say that I passed just because it's ungraded anyway. I can preview it here, and I can preview this person's results here. So you as the coach in the back end. So to share this one, you come back into assessments, and over here we can preview it or duplicate it, so you can create multiple amounts of them. So we'll go preview, and then we would copy this link here. So basically from the numbers back, copy, and that is what we can share with our customers. So if I just open up a new tab and paste that in, that should open up that assessment. There we go. So that is something, like I say, it's less customizable. It's easy for the customers if you just share a link with them. It's behind the scenes more rather than on your website, like the first version that I showed you, where you can fully customize. And then to see the results, you just come back into Kajabi, and you can either come to assessments and look here, view results. So that's what I was showing you before in the third tab here, and it will start to list all of the people that have filled in the assessment. I'm not sure if you can see it in the contacts area of Kajabi. Let's just have a look. There we go. It's added that tag less than 1 year because I chose that in the assessment. That was the tag automation that we had there. But I don't think that you can see the assessment information within the contact area, other than I can see here within the chronological actions that I have completed that quiz and view results. There we go. So it does just pop up there. That's where I can preview it there from the contact area as well. So those are 2 ways that you can just sort out a quiz in Kajabi. This is on the front end, so something that is shareable without anyone having to be in your online course on the back end, which is what I'm going to show you separately next. And then I'm going to show you some much nicer, more customizable, branded online quizzes that you can create externally and integrate with your Kajabi account. Okay, and now we are inside a product in Kajabi. So this is a course product. So this is where your course customers are logging in and taking your course. I'll just open up to show you what that looks like for your customer. This is, of course, all just a test sample one, so nothing has been updated or added in here, but we've got a module and then 3 lessons sitting in here. So what we can do is we can add a quiz to this as well. And quiz is really good to add into a course when you're wanting to kind of reinforce a client or a customer's learning, what have they learned in those previous lessons, and or for more like accreditation programs, so that people can complete the quiz to show that they have taken the course and therefore get the points or get the accreditation that they're supposed to get. It's just a little bit more than just expecting people to watch the lessons and know that they've done it, whereas this here can test them. So to do that, within a module, you just go add content and then go quiz. And then in here, we've got 3 tabs here. So this is the questions, the quiz questions, the settings of the quiz. So we'll go in there in a minute, and then the results once people start completing the quiz. This is where we can come to look at those. So let's name the quiz. Let's call this test quiz module 1, and we can put a description in here. Course product, like that. If you want, you can upload an image. I'll do that so we can show you. Just to show you where that image ends up. And then we can choose what type of grading. Now, if you want to set a passing grade, so this means that someone has to pass it before they can move on or before they qualify or whatever the action is after they pass the quiz. However, this only works if you are asking yes/no questions or specific multi-choice questions where you can tell the quiz in the back end here what the answer is. If you have open field typed questions and answers for people to just type in the answer to a question, then you can't automatically grade it, obviously, because the system doesn't know the exact answer. People may answer different things. So, but if it's just purely yes, no, or multi-choice questions, then you can set a passing grade. So this is how much percentage of the questions correct does the person have to get to have passed. So it's sort of like an auto pass. And I'm just going to turn that off, but I'll turn it back on to show the options. You can choose to send a reminder, an email to the member with a link to their results. And also you can prevent the member from marking the quiz as complete if they haven't passed it. So that would be in the accreditation side of things, where things are a lot more strict in terms of passing and completing the course. So I'm just going to turn that off because I'm not going to use that here. And then you can choose to hide the answers on the results page. So that's just after they've finished the quiz, they can't see their answers. Not sure why you would do that, but Anyway, let's just hide it. Then completion emails. So you can choose what kind of communications you want to send out, whether it's to your internal team or to the customer themselves. And you can add an email address there if it's for someone on your team that needs to know when someone's completed a quiz. You can have that notification there. So I'll just hit save on those settings that I set up there, and then we'll go to the questions. So start off with, we're going to add a question. Question 1, I didn't have any questions prepared, so I'll just keep them real simple here. So this is an example where what is your name would be obviously an open text. It's called short answer here, where someone can just type in. It's not graded, so we'll turn that off anyway, even though it says non-graded, because my overall settings that I set were non-graded. But I'm just going to put a short answer here, and they can type their own name in. If I want to add an image to this, I can as well. Let's just add one in so we can see what that looks like when we preview it. And then on the next one, I won't add an image so we can compare them. And this is where they're going to respond. So then we're going to add another question. That's question 1. Question 2, any employees. So you're just free typing them in. You're not pulling them through from the existing fields that you've already created. This is not a form. Yeah, you can choose to tag as well, tag responses. So let's say a multi-choice here. It's not graded. And we are going to do option 1. Now we don't want it multi-choice. We actually want it checkboxes, so they're choosing. And then we'll choose one here that is multi-choice. Choice, not graded. So this is where they can choose multiple. And I'm just going to leave it at that. 3 questions. I'll hit save, and then I'm going to publish it. And now we're going to preview it. How many employees do I have in my company? Yeah, so I can only select one on here, and I can select all of these if I want to, if they're relevant. So we'll just go submit that. Obviously that was a test. Your answers have been recorded. Thank you for your response. So we chose the option where it doesn't show me the results on this page as the customer, and I press close, and it will take me back into the course again. So from the front end of the course for the customer, this is what a quiz looks like. Just sits like a lesson. If we open a lesson, that has the lesson in it, but if we open a quiz, that has the quiz in it that I just took there, and it asks to start now here, and then it opens up the quiz like that. So I guess another function that we just spotted here was that we can tag responses. So when someone chooses that they use Kajabi here, I can add a tag. So I have a tag called Kajabi user on my main site, so we can go add that tag like that, because I know that this person uses Kajabi. This means that the person that's completing the form is instantly in the back end in the contacts area going to get tagged with this because they told me that they use Kajabi, and I could set up a different tag for all of these, same for this. So that's just a little bit more of that being able to segment your audience, which is really important when you're wanting to communicate really niche, specific information. So for instance, if I knew exactly everyone in my database, which I don't unfortunately, if I knew everyone that was a Kajabi user and everyone that wasn't a Kajabi user, when I send out my promotional emails about Kajabi, I would know only send them to the people that are not already Kajabi users. So that's just an example of segmentation, and you can do that via being able to tag wherever possible within your system. So as mentioned, this is a quiz behind a login because it's within the course product. So now, and I've already shown you the how to create a lead magnet on the front end of your website with a form, an embedded form, or an assessment in Kajabi, and that is accessible to the general public, anyone you share that link with, whereas this kind of quiz is only available to those that are inside your course product, that have access to your course product. You can't share this quiz outside of that. People need to log in to get access to it. Next, I'm going to show you some external third-party quiz options that you can use to integrate them into your Kajabi site, either within the product or just externally on your website, on a landing page, wherever you would like to. I'll show you that now. Just a quick pause before we keep going. If you're new to Kajabi or considering switching over to it, I highly recommend that you sign up using my partner link below. Kajabi gives you everything you need to run your business in one place. The website, the email, digital products, checkouts, automations, and of course, everything that I've shown you today. When you use my link below, you'll usually get access to a better free trial than what Kajabi offers on their own homepage. Plus, I'm going to send you some bonus resources and support to help you get it all set up and running. So if you're ready to stop duct taping 10 different tools together, scroll down and grab your free trial now. Hey, thanks for your time here. I'll let you get back to the video. This is an example of typeform. So I'm in typeform.com. I've logged in. This is actually a quiz that I had already set up for a client. And these are all the different quiz questions and the answers. So basically each different screen following, and it goes in a particular order. I'll just move myself out the way here. And then they get to an end result as well. So I'm not going to go into the massive details of typeform, but here we can see, the flow of the quiz. So we're just a lot more in depth than any of the Kajabi quiz functions. This one here is particularly for within a product. So for users of a course at the end of the course, I believe. And so there's all these different options that I can look at here, and I can say, so when they answer this question here, depending on their answer, they get a yes or no, and then they move on to the next answer. But of course, you can make it too. So if it's multiple choice, they would move into different areas. So this is the level of complexity that Typeform has. And then to embed it onto my Kajabi into the product area, but you can embed this into anywhere, really, because it's an external third party. I just go to share. I'm going to show you some examples of it that I've already done. And here I can go embed into a web page. And then up here, I just grab the code up here. So over this side here is where I can choose what I want it to look like on the web page. So they've got different options here. Either is just standard, a full page, pop-ups. This is what the quiz will do, whether it slides over from the side, pops up on the side. So a couple of examples I've got here where I've already placed it in. This one here is where it pops up. So this is what we have previously seen as the course product in Kajabi. So I'll just go back a couple of steps where I had the module and then a few lessons. This here was the Kajabi quiz. So if I just open that up again to remind you what that looked like. So we take the quiz here and go start now, and it opens up the quiz and we move through the quiz. Otherwise, this is what the Typeform one will look like depending on how I've got it embedded here. So what we would do is we would put some text graphic up here that explains, click below to take the quiz. And then someone would move down here and click it, and you can change the text on that and the color and everything. And see, it pops up as a pop-up. So a similar kind of way. And then we go through the quiz like this. We can color it, brand it, fill in, do it however you like. It still says powered by Typeform because this is a free version of it rather than a paid version of Typeform. So it's all very possible just even with the free version, so long as you're okay with that. And the other option is that I've got example here is to actually have it embedded into that text area where there's usually a text box in Kajabi, and they can just move through the quiz here like this rather than a pop-up. But as I said, there's a few different options over here. There's also this one over to the right. So if I just go like that, and to easily embed it, I just go, I'll change it to general, grab the code, it's already copied, go into Kajabi, click here, and so this is in the lesson, and just add the code in. I could, if I want, add the image there so that it's not that big blank box above it, and then go preview. There we go, and it slid in from over to the right. So that was just to do with the different option that I chose over here. The other one that I showed you before was a pop-up, and then the other one was just within the same text box. So there's all different options here that you can try. I think done well, it looks really good. Obviously, you can brand it your same colors and things. So that is Typeform. The other option that I recommend is third party is tryinteract. So this is one of my clients' quizzes in tryinteract. Up here, we've already set up the quiz. Again, similar results. I would say it's probably not as detailed as Typeform, but it still enables you to brand everything, your colors, to obviously put all the types of questions that you want in, and do a little bit of animation there as well, dictate the results, tell it which are the results, and then based on the results, what we've done here. So this is a particular quiz where people find out what type of functionality they need to focus on, or are you ready to manifest in. So they find out that their answer is, say, power, based on the multiple choice questions that they've answered. We've got each of the results then redirecting them to a page on the client's website. Now that page is on a Kajabi site. I'm not going to show you it, but it essentially goes to a landing page with a form on it where the customer has to fill in their name and email address to be able to get the result, to get the PDF that is about the result that they've got. So how this is a front end quiz for sure. This is a lead magnet that she's using. So she advertises the quiz to find out what kind of manifestation area you need to focus more in. They come take the quiz through her website. So they click a button on her Kajabi site. It takes them through this quiz on tryinteract, and then it shoots them back through to Kajabi. Because the branding's all the same, the customer doesn't know that they're being moved around different sites. They fill in their name and email address at the end of the quiz in order to get the result. And then an automatic email gets sent to them with their PDF with the relevant result and an email sequence following that. So that is to just show you a couple of different options. The other way that you would put the interact quiz into the course would be a very similar way, actually. So if we just go back into this one, there goes a link to take the quiz. But if I just actually go share and embed, here we go, I can get the embed code. And that is very similar to what I was showing you earlier with typeform. Cool, so I just copied that code, went in, I actually started a new lesson and in here and just pasted the code, and that is it sitting here. Now it looks a little bit like it's too big or something like that. Remember, you're in the back end, so just hit save and preview, and then you'll be able to see what it looks like, and you can adjust the size from there. Again, you'd want to put something up here to indicate to people to take the quiz below. And the quiz just happens automatically in here, so we can answer all the questions as we move through them here. Again, it's got the branding here because we're on the free version of it. You can pay, interact. I call it tryinteract because that's what it used to be called, but it's changed its name just to interact now. But the branding is here because this is the free version. So you can pay to have that removed and have your own branding there. But it just moves through. Let's see if I just take all those questions, and then there we go. It takes me through to the results page, which I have to enter in my name and email address. Now, this is actually a landing page on the client's Kajabi site. So that's really clever that it just all works in the same place here rather than sending me out to that. But obviously that is because it's all within the course portal and embedded in here. The client enters in their details and then they automatically receive an email with their results. So that is the one that we've created on Interact. And that is the third-party options that I recommend if you're wanting to use something that's a little bit more detailed, a little bit more branded, and perhaps a little bit more analytics and interaction in the background. So whether you're building out a fun lead generating quiz, or you're checking your students' progress in your courses, or you're making client onboarding smoother, there's a lot that you can do right there in Kajabi, right? And when the built-in tools aren't quite enough, comparing Kajabi with something like Typeform or tryinteract or interact can really take your quizzes to the next level. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe for more hands-on Kajabi tutorials, and let me know in the comments what kind of fun quiz are you going to create first. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on online business in Kajabi. Got questions? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to help.